Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we're Masechtas Yevamot daf Sadi Gimel. We are going to begin on Sadi Gimel Amud Al 5 lines from the top. So we were learning when it came to a situation where a woman was supposed to do Yibum, but instead she received Kedushin from a man from the outside, or is known Lashuk in the market. So the question is whether that Kedushin means anything. So according to the sheet of Rav, as we saw in Sadi Beis Amud Beis, he said, in Kedushin Taisin B'Yevamot. That Kedushin means nothing. However, according to Shmuel, he had a suffix, and therefore he required a get. Now, Upligid Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak. This actually, as we mentioned before, also when it came to whether or not a person can be Machna Dever Shel B'Olam, so this actually is an argument with Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak. The Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, Rav Huna Karav. This long chain of command. Rav Huna holds like Rav Karebi, Karebianai, Kareb Chia, Rav Chia Karebi, Rebbe Kareb Meir, Rav Meir Karebi Elazar ben Yankov, Rav Elazar ben Yaakov, Karebi Akiva. So we see all of them. The Omer Adam Machna Dever Shel B'Olam, that a person can even be Machna something which is not in this world, because we learned in yesterday's daf, the Mishnah Kedushin, the person says Hari Mekadeshesli on the time in which after you convert to Judaism. So that doesn't work because it's a davar shel ba'olam. And for that matter, if a person would say that I want it to be Kedushin after your person who does Yibum, your Yavam, he does Chalitza with you, which is mashma that Kedushin is not Chal at that time. So we see apparently that was a raya that Kedushin is not typhus when it comes to this man, Lashuk. So Rav Huna Maihi, so we're saying that all these different people hold that a person can be Machna Davar Shel Ba'olam. The question is, where do we see that Rav Huna holds of this? Titmar, we learn like this. It says, Hamoicher Perois, Dekel Chaver, a person sells fruits of a date palm tree to his friend, and Rashi says it's Bimosa Geshamim, in the rain season, which means there's no fruits on the tree as of now. So Omer Rav Huna, Ad Shelu Bo Oilam, until the fruits come, Yochel Lachser Boy, you can retract from the Mechira. However, from the time in which the fruits come, in Yochel Lachser Boy, you're not allowed to retract. Says Rashi, in Bo Lachser Bo Koidim Nisan, in which fruits grow, does Hilanos Moitzin Yochel Lachser Boy. He says you're allowed to. However, once the fruits grow, you cannot retract from your deal. Says Rashi, Dechi Asu Chayil Zvine. At that time, the Zvina is Chal. Alma Adamachna Dever Shel Ba'olam. Even though there's no fruits there, however, it was still a good mechira at that time, that if, let's say, you do not retract, that original mechira stands. Fine. So that we see Rav Huna holds a person to be Machna Dever Shel Ba'olam. Furthermore, we also find, not just Rav Huna, but also Rav Nachman Omer. According to him, he actually says that even after the fruits have already grown, you could still retract. Well, that means because it was it didn't mean anything, that kinyan, original one. Rav Nachman Moidina, you should agree to me, dishomit v'achel, that if the buyer grabs the fruits, lo mafkinan minei, that we're not going to take it away from him. Rav Huna Omer Rav ha'omer chaver sadazu shani loikeach. This person who says to his friend, this field in which I will buy it, likishechena, when you purchase it, kanui l'cha miachshav, let it be a kinyan from now. So kana, it's considered to be a good kinyan. It's a good gift. Rabbi Yanai Kareb Chia, the Rabbi Yanai Havile Arisa, he had a sharecropper. The Havi Maisile Kanta de Peri, and he had a basket of fruits. Kol Mali Shabbata. Every Erev Shabbos, that's what he had, this basket of fruits. Hahu Yoima, Nagalevu Asa. One day, it was getting late, and he didn't come with a basket of fruits. So Shakal asim peri de bese. Because of that, he took off meiser from the peros from his house. So alui also kamei de Rav Chia. So they went to Rav Chia. Amalei shaper avda. You did a good thing by separating the meisers as you did the sanya. Laman tilmad liyiras Hashem lokecha kol hayomim. That person should be afraid of Hashem all the days. Elu shabasais v'yomim toivim. So that refers to Shabbos and Yom Tov. Says Rashi, Havilamid lihizahir shol yavatel oinig Shabbos. You should be careful not to mavatel oinig Shabbos b'shvil tikkun tevel, making sure that the fruits have been separated. So make sure you took it off before Shabbos, so you'll have oinig Shabbos. That's what it means. So Gemara asks, "Lamai hilchasa," says Rashi, "Ma asa kroi lasuri." What is it coming to warn us? Ilema lasure umechal. Is it coming to tell you regarding separating and then eating? Says Rashi, "V'itzrach hashmina de'afla de Shabbosu misaknan." That even though it's Shabbos, you can be misakin it. V'chitzrach kra lemishrei tiltul derabanan hafrashas meisers b'Shabbos enu el mishum shvus. The whole notion of separating trumas and meisers on Shabbos is the din rabbanan. Ditnan elhin mishum shvus lo magvin trumas and meisers v'sechtes beya peichat asal and kra tiltul ba'alma isruch lemishrei hacha. It can't be the pasuk is coming to mock to this, because the whole notion of hafrashas trumas and meisers on Shabbos is a din rabbanan. So you don't need a pasuk for that. Isruch kra lemishri tiltul rabbanan. Is it coming to allow? Say it's talking about tiltul rabbanan? Obviously not. You don't need a pasuk. As we continue to study Gimel Omid Beis, El Olav Ki Hagavna. It's our situation, says Rashi. The mutter will aser al ma shalubo oilam. Even though the fruits are not in front of you, but they will come with Tzarech Einig Shabbos. You're allowed to separate them now. Armalei v'ha akroin bechelma. However, I read in a dream. It read to me in this dream the pasuk, as we'll see. At the night of that Shabbos, kana rotzutz, a broken reed. Says Rashi, mikra echad ushmo kana rotzutz. My love, hachi karmeli. This must be what's being told to me. Hine batachta lacha al mishenes hakana harotzutz hazeh. That you have this bitachain regarding this broken reed. Says Rashi, v'lav shaper avdid, which is mashma that I didn't do the right thing. Lo hachi karmelach kana rotzutz lo yishbor. Your reed will not be broken. Upishta keha lo yechabena. Rather, it's talking about this flax, which is maybe soft, will not be destroyed. So actually, as Rashi says, Seif the Kra wa emes yaitzi mishpat the shaper avta. Actually, what you did was good. So you can interpret the pasuk in a positive way. Rabbi desanya lo sasker eved el adainav. So this pasuk regarding an eved, Rabbi Oimer, what is this referring to? Blokech eved almanas l'shachroi hakas medaber. A person who purchases a slave with intention to sell him. This case, he can't. Question is, can he be a slave? So hechidami. What exactly is this referring to? Look at Rashi. Musar shul shtabed boy. You shouldn't work with him. So Amar Rav Nachman ben Yitzchak the Kasavle, you wrote regarding this person, when I purchase you, you'll be already free from before. So that shows, obviously, that's something which didn't happen yet, but you can still be mocked never shall be. Rameir did not. And this is the Mishnah we saw before. Marry me after I convert. After you or I become free. After your husband dies. After your sister dies. And this is the main line that we said before. After Chalitza is done with you, because it's davar shelo b'olam. Rameir oimer mikudeshes. He says, no, that's still a kedushin. That you could still do this because you could be mocked the davar shelo b'olam. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov Desanya, Yosar Kain, even more omer Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov afil im omer peros arugazu. telushim, regarding these fruits that are in a row, which are detached, you truma al peres aruga mechubarim. Let them be truma for these other fruits in a different row, which are attached to the ground. Oh, peres aruga mechubarim al peres zu telushim, the ones which are attached. And he adds the line, likish yaviu shlish. It's not even a third grown yet. They haven't completed its growth. And when it has a shlish, Rashi says that's gemar malacha. At that time, it'll be considered to be gemar malacha. It'll be grown. V'yitolshu, and you detach it. V'yaviu shlish, and it grows a third. V'nitlshu devar kayamim. It actually works. So what do you mean? It wasn't even a shlish yet. So it was a davar shel ba'olam, still it worked. So as we saw this before, if a woman says, I'm not going to give you any of my handiwork, in Tzarech Hafer, you don't need to annul it because that's an obligation on her part. Rabbi Kiva Omer, Yafer. Rabbi Kiva says, no, you do still have to say a hafara. And the reason is shematadav lev yoser mid haroilo, because maybe she offered more than that which is she makes more than she has to actually give. So therefore, she actually gets to keep some of it, and therefore but it's referring to a davar shel ba'olam because it's not in this world yet. Even though we saw in yesterday's daf, maybe she's referring to her hands which are in this world. Okay, fine. Question 3. Well, my hilchasa nemer kra l'man tilmad liras Hashem l'kecha kol yamim. Learn to fear Hashem all of your days. And we learn that's referring to Shabbos and Yom Tov. What does that mean? It means the mutal aser al ma shalo bal olam l'tzarech einik Shabbos. You could even take off meisus, even though for things that are not here, for the needs of Oneg Shabbos. Okay. Bamine. Let's just make sure there's no questions here. Okay. So you ask the following question. Eid echad b'yavama mahu. What is the din if you have one witness regarding Yevamot? Says Rashi, Meid, one person testifies, Shemes Bala, that your husband died, Kedei shetis yavem, in order to do Yibum. So she has no husband, your husband died, and they have no children. So now the question is, can she do Yibum? Based on that one witness. So time of the Eid Echad, the reason we have one witness is acceptable, something which they'll eventually find out. You can find out the guy's dead or not. They'll eventually come, the truth will come out, so he's not going to lie. So he's not going to lie. The reason is because she's going to be careful, even with that one witness, to investigate to make sure it's true that her husband is actually dead before she would do Yibum. However, maybe not here actually. Maybe she actually has taken a liking to this man. As Rashi says, Oheves es Yevamah. She loves her husband's brother. Maybe she won't be so careful, which is question 4. Masvar l'chalik ben yibum l'nesuin shlo tehi isha nemanis loimer mes bali lis yavim. So Omer lahu Rav Sheshes tenisua. The answer to this question, we have our Mishnah. Amrullah, if a husband and a child went to Medina Siyam, and then they're told, Meis Benech, first your child died, V'yach Meis Balech, and then afterwards your husband died, which means because when her husband died, there was no child, she would have to do Yibum based on this testimony. And she did that. Mis Yabma, she did Yibum. V'yachach Amrullah Chilaf Hadavar, and he says the other way around. So she was not supposed to do Yibum because she actually had a child. So Teitzi v'havlad rishon v'achron mamzer. So hechadami, what is this case? Who came? Ilay matreu trey. If two people said yes, this is what happened, then two people came afterwards. So my chazas the samach sahani. How do you know to rely on one group over the other? It's 2 and 2. Vod mamzer, saving mamzer who? How can you say that's a mamzer? It's 2 against 2. So 2 people said he's dead. 2 people said it's not. 2 people said it was this way, 2 people said it was the other way, so it's a suffix, which was true. So the child would be only a suffix mamzer. The chitema lodak, maybe it's talking, it's not dafka. We're not talking about something specific. So Bahamid the tiny seifa, the seifa says harishon mamzer v'acharon eno mamzer. So the fact that it says that one situation is a mamzer, one's not a mamzer, shema min davka katani, it must be telling you that no, when it says mamzer, it is exactly referring to exactly as it sounds. So therefore, elulav shmamina chad. It can't be trey or trey, because then it wouldn't say a mamzer. It would be a suffix mamzer. So how is it possible to say it's a mamzer? Because it was only chad. Only one witness originally said you can go get married, do yibum. The time it does be trey ashkachu, and the reason why she has the child's a mamzer, because now you have two witnesses that contradict it. Halav hachi behiman, which is mashma that if you only had this one guy and that was it, and she would do yibum and no one else came, that would be it. He would be believed. So one witness is enough for her to do yibum. So that is a raya. The truth is, maybe we didn't even need that as a raya, because that's a double pashut. Some say, halvoti boiluch. You don't even need to come on to that. They feel ihinami mehimna. She's even herself able to say that her husband died. How do we see that? It's not. We learn the Mishnah. Yishashama meis bali. Tinase. If a woman says, my husband died, we let her get married. Not only that, meis bali tisyabem. We will also allow her to do yibum, even without witnesses, even without one witness, 0 witnesses. If the woman herself says, I know for a fact my husband died, she can do yibum. So obviously, if there's one witness, she would be able to do yibum. So that's not a question. Kiti boilach l'mishri yavam alma. The question is to allow her to go to out. What does that mean? It says Rashi, Eid echad matir l'shuk, shermela meis yavamech, o meis balech v'yachach meis benech. In the situation, let's say she has this brother she's supposed to do yibum with, and she says, oh, that guy died. So then there's no other brothers. Okay, she's free. Or someone says, your husband died and then your child died, which basically is saying you don't have to do yibum. So in that situation, it's one thing maybe we believe her or one witness for her to do yibum, but how about to free her up from yibum? That's the opposite situation. My time the edachad mishum de milsa de viduluguli. Lomashakar sachan and lomashakar. So one witness again should be believed here. Odilma time the edachad mishum de he daika mitzvah. She's going to be very careful before she marries someone in the shuk. However, the whole daika mitzvah. Maybe she's not going to be careful here. The misnahu, right? She hates the guy. She does. Maybe she hates the yavam, her husband's brother, and therefore she's not going to investigate. She's going to be, okay, fine, he's dead, good news, right? And that would be good enough. So maybe one witness is not enough because she will not be daika mitzvah. Says Gemara in Sadi Dalad Amid Aleph, Desanile, as I said, maybe she hates liyavam. So Amalahu Rav Sheshes Tanisua. We also learned this situation that whether or not one witness is believed to free her up. Amrullah, the Mishnah said, if they said to her, Meis Balech, first your husband died, Yachach Meis Benech, and then your child died, which means you had a child when your husband died, and therefore you don't have to do Yibum. So this is the case where she's being freed up to marry someone in the Shuk. Now, Hechidami, what is this case that she went and married some other guy based on the original testimony? Again, why would we, if it's 2 against 2, regarding the order of who died first, so why would you rely on one over the other? Vod mamzer, suffix mamzer, it's a suffix. The chitem lodak, maybe it's just not being exact with that language. No, hamidetani save harishan mamzer v'achor and mamzer shemamin the davka katani. So you said it's being exact. If it says this is a mamzer, this is not a mamzer, so it would obviously it's saying that this is a case where the child would in fact be a mamzer. So elulav chad. We're talking about there's only one witness. One witness said that this is the order, and therefore you don't have to do yibum. The time would also be tray. The only reason why there's a problem is because you have 2 witnesses that contradict it. If those 2 people never came and it was just this one guy, he would be believed, and she can go and marry whoever she wants. So it's a proof. No, maybe it's really 2 against 2. Well, 1 second. If it's 2 against 2, then why would we rely on the second group over the first group? Just because they say the opposite, who says that they're right? Maybe the first group is right. It's Edi Hakasha. Right is not necessarily. Yomi. Be'edi hazama, hakanami be'edi hazama. When it comes to Edi Hazama, a person says, Imanu hayisim b'makam ploini. I know that you were in another location, so you could not have seen who died first. Therefore, in that situation, the din is that we believe the second group, even if it's 2 against 2. It's a chiddush, as is brought in the beginning of Masechtas Makos. It discusses this and tells us that when it comes to the din of Hazama, the first group, we do kasher zam masas achiv, whatever that would be in this situation is a good question. But the point is that the second group is believed. So therefore, maybe this is a case of trey, and therefore it's not necessarily a raya if one witness comes originally, whether or not she's able to go out based on that testimony. I'm going to stop here. Let's say a couple questions. Question 4. Ma svara l'chalik ben yibam l'nesuin shalotehi ish ne'menes loimer meis bali lehisyavim, because even though normally we would say one is enough because it's asali kuli, it's not going to lie, but maybe she's not going to be daika mitzvah because she wants to actually be married to this person. TA 16. Matzad she'ed echad einu nemon lahater yavama leyavam. Why would we not allow it? So we said because maybe she likes him. Matzad she'einu nemon lahater yavama lashuk, and because maybe she hates him. Let's see what it says over here. The davke is ish de'aka mitzvah avlahacha zimnan merach malay v'yam lashuk mishum desanile. Right? You don't. Maybe it's the other way around. Right? Who knows? Maybe she actually doesn't like the guy. So therefore, because of that reason, maybe one witness in either situation we said is not going to be enough. But we ended up saying that in order for her to do yibum, everyone holds that certainly will be acceptable because she herself is even nemon in that situation. It says, "O dilma taima de'edechan mishum de'i daika mitzvah v'halo daika mitzvah," because she hates him. Okay, TB. TB 16. Amrula meis balech, your husband died. V'yachach meis benech, and then your child died. V'nises v'yachach amrula chilf hayu davarim matam shesricha get min hasheni. Why do you need to get from the second person? So either because, as we saw before, because its kedushin is taifsin mesavik bi'avam l'shuk, or because of gezerah demichla bi'isha shalach balam dinas v'yachach ba'bala. Fine. Which was actually, we had that on yesterday's daf. And al eza ma'isa shas Rab Yanai haroylo b'chalmai kana rotzutz. What happened that he saw this broken reed, which he wasn't sure was it good or bad? It was that he took off meiser, which is something which was shlo b'oil oil mitzarach einig Shabbos, and that was actually something which was considered to be acceptable. Adka.